All right, I have 7 minutes, so I'm going to talk fast. No, I'm just kidding. I want to say, again, congratulations to Education Pioneers on their 10-year anniversary. I sat in a restaurant in Washington, D.C. with Scott, who was like, so I'm starting this organization, and I was like, yeah, right, good luck with that. And I am proud to see this crowd and moreover to be the recipient of the talent that Ed Pioneers brings to the education community. We have, I think, one of the most illustrious Ed Pioneers in the whole wide world, one of the most illustrious Ed Pioneer alumni in the entire world, and that's Brian Pick, who is my Chief of Teaching and Learning. Who I'm not sure if you know or not was named the best curriculum and instruction person in the country by the Council for Great City Schools. And he got his start right here at Ed Pioneer. So for those of you who want to be superstars in the world of education, come work for DCPS. Under Brian, I couldn't do this unless I put my pitch in. Okay, so now I'm going to reset my stopwatch and go. My leadership journey. My name is Kaya Henderson. Thank you to Tamesia for introducing me. Like Tamesia, I am a little black girl who grew up in public schools in Mount Vernon, New York. And I got a fantastic public education. I got a public education that, in fact, took me from the south side of Mount Vernon, right? And you know that in most cities, the north side connotes one set of things and the south side connotes another set of things. We lived on the south side where my family lived in the projects for 47 years. But we were actually able to change our life circumstances because my mother got a good public education, became a teacher, a principal at the age of 29, and I got a good public education that took me from Mount Vernon High School, which was named a Blue Ribbon High School, to Georgetown University, one of the best university, the best university in the country, where I studied international relations and got the chance to do a whole lot of stuff that changed my life and set me on a course for where I am today. My leadership journey actually started in my home, where every single day before we left the house, my grandmother, who was my primary caretaker because my mother was busy working, we said 3 things before we walked out of the door every day. First, we said the 23rd Psalms. We reminded ourselves of who we belong to, and that on the other side of that door, it didn't matter what happened because we were protected. The second thing that we said before we left the door every day, or what she said, was, one day, you just might be the President of the United States. And I thought, right. And the third thing that she said, because it was 1970 something, was black is beautiful, right? And so I grew up, and every single day I got this reinforcement that 1, I could be anything that I wanted to be, 2, that I was protected and loved and supported, in whatever skin that I was in, whatever format I came in, and I took that out against the world every single day. And I had great teachers who nurtured that in me, who let me know it was okay to be who I wanted to be. I was a little awkward, and that was okay with them, and they found the things that were interesting to me, and they found my talents and cultivated me. And so really the first leg of my leadership journey was one where I was loved and supported and affirmed in what I did, from a woman who had a high school degree to a woman who had multiple master's degrees to teachers and principals and phenomenal people in my community who, in fact, reinforced that I could be anything that I wanted to be. Second leg of my leadership journey actually, I think, happened post-Georgetown when I joined Teach for America. I was a 1992 Corps member, which I know sounds really old, right? But when I decided to Teach for America as a middle school Spanish teacher in the South Bronx, my mother, who I thought would be thrilled because she was an educator, said, I didn't pay $80,000 for you to be a teacher. And I was like, huh? And my mother, who set very high expectations, was like, look, you got this international relations degree, and you're telling me you're going to be a teacher? Like, how does this work? And I was like, oh, I'm going to be an international educational consultant. And she said, who are you going to work for, and how much are they going to pay? And I was like, I don't know, but I'll work it out. Fast forward to my 2-year teaching experience, where I grew up probably about 4 miles from where I taught, but it might as well have been on the other side of the world. My children didn't have people affirming them every day. My children didn't have teachers who were holding them to high expectations. My children didn't have people who were telling them that they could be anything that they wanted to be. And so I felt like it was really important for me to not just stay in the classroom and deal with the 30 or 120 children that I taught, but to make sure that every single one of them had an amazing teacher who was telling them that they could be the president of the United States, who was telling them that they could lead. And so I became a recruiter for Teach for America. And I went to colleges and universities all across the country, and I told people my story, my classroom story, my kids' story. And I told them that they needed to do Teach for America. And then those crazy people promoted me to the National Director of Admissions at Teach for America. At 25, I was responsible for recruiting 500 at the time, 500 brand new corps members into Teach for America. And I got under my desk and I cried every single day because I didn't know how to manage people. I didn't know how to do selection, but I figured it out because I recognized that this was the leadership opportunity that people had been preparing me for. And so while I had to make time to cry under the desk, I also had to make time to get up and produce. I went from National Director of Admissions to Teach for America, DC Executive Director, where in fact, I moved from just bringing people into school districts to them being responsible for their success in school districts. And that is when I fell in love with DC Public Schools, the dysfunctional place that it was. I literally walked into a room with my 50 Teach for America folders under my arm, and I was like, hey, it's me. I got these 50 great teachers, and the people in HR were like, yeah, put them on that pile. That pile was taller than me. And they were literally just grabbing folders from that pile and calling people to come teach. And I was like, well, what's your selection model? Because I had spent all of this time studying selection models. And I was like, how do you do your matching process? And they were like, listen, whoever calls, whoever picks up when we call, that's how we match. And I was like, I'm going to take my 50 folders and I'm out. And I beat the streets. I built relationships with principals. I went to schools all over the city, and I talked to principals, and I said, look, I have great people, but they need mentoring, they need developing. And in October, when DC Public Schools called me and said, hey, do you have those 50 teachers? I said, no, I don't. They're teaching in your schools. I literally had placed all my teachers outside of the school district, and I thought, this is insane. If school districts aren't paying attention to the quality of the people in their classrooms, it doesn't matter what the buildings look like, it doesn't matter what textbooks they use, it doesn't matter what whole school reform model they use, this is a problem. I felt like I was putting bright lights into a very dark cave, and I decided that I wanted to rewire the cave. And after a successful career with Teach for America DC, I decided I should study to be an urban superintendent. And so I was preparing my application for Harvard's Urban Superintendent Program, and I got a call from a friend from Teach for America, and she said, hey, I heard you're leaving Teach for America. I was like, yep, going to Harvard Urban Superintendent Program. She's like, oh, did you get in? Not yet, but I'm going. Because one day I'm going to be the president of the United States, right? And so she said, well, you want to be a superintendent? I was like, no, I would never want to be a superintendent. In fact, I just want to go learn what superintendents are trained to do because I feel like they're missing the mark, right? They're not prioritizing teacher quality. And so I want to figure out what else is on their plate so that I can help them reprioritize. And I just want to consult because I want to have an easy life. And she said, great, I'm starting a consulting firm, and we're going to consult to superintendents around teacher quality. And I was like, great, wonderful. And she said, I will pay you $25,000 more than what you're currently making to come join my consulting firm. And I thought, school, debt. Job, raise. It's really that simple. And so I joined my friend Michelle Rhee at the New Teacher Project, and we worked with school districts all across the country, helping them rethink how to recruit and retain great teachers. And after working with school districts all across the country, Michelle got a call to say, will you come to DC? And she called me, I was living in DC at the time, and she said, should we do this? And I said, of course we should do this. As consultants, we are trying to cajole or challenge or bribe people into doing the things that we think are important. And now we actually have the chance to do it ourselves. And so in 2007, I went to DC Public Schools with Michelle Rhee as the Deputy Chancellor for Human Capital. And I was able to actually live out all of my cockamamie dreams around getting and keeping great people. And we parlayed that work over the first 3 years then into this 6-year journey. I became the Chancellor. I became the Chancellor of DC Public Schools in 2010, where I literally am living my dream. Every single day, I get to work with an amazing group of people. Every single day, we have the opportunity to be urgent, to be strategic, to be deliberate. Every single day, I get to meet very cool people like the President of the United States. And every single day, we get to make it happen for kids. And my leadership journey has been one of faith. I feel like everything that I do is based on what I fundamentally believe about the world. My leadership journey has been about encouragement and affirmation. And my leadership journey has been about opportunity. And I know that if I do what I am supposed to do well, then people like Tanisha will have a very different chance in this world. Thank you.